Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program, we have Brian Dunne. He is a singer songwriter from New York, and I had a chance to chat with him. We had a really fun chat. We'll get into that in just a minute. You may know him, by the way, from his band Fantastic Cat or from his solo career. We talk about both in our interview, so lots of fun there. Before we get into the interview, a couple things to hit. First off, I'm filming this at night, the next night after my interview with Brian. And this is the only time I could break away to actually record the intro and the music news because I have two kids in my house. One of them is not mine. I'm watching my buddy Joe's son, and my son and his son have been friends their whole lives. As a Joe and I, for the most part, I mean, I've been friends with him since he was 17 and I was 18. And recently there's been a little bit of turmoil in the friendship, which is challenging for, my son's, not feeling the same way about the friendship that he did before. And so we're working through some of that. And so I've really jam packed this weekend with tons of stuff for us to do and for us to have fun with. We made pizzas last night in a pizza oven. Had a couple of friends over, just made pizzas as a group, and then homemade pizzas. We put on all the toppings, whatever we wanted on them, and that was a lot of fun. Today, we went to a fishing derby for kids, and Joe's son actually caught 5.8 pounds catfish as soon as we got there. Pretty much first or second cast, he caught it, and it was the second biggest in the 6 to 10-year-old category. So you won a trophy. So that was a lot of fun. We didn't catch any other fish besides that one, but we had some fun getting out there doing that. And then we went to a theme park and had an afternoon there doing bumper boats and Indy racers and laser tag and video games. Lots of fun stuff. And tomorrow we'll hit the Jelly Belly factory because why not? So keeping everybody busy, and they're getting along so much better than they have in months, and it's wonderful. I love it. So that's going really well. And then also on the program now, I want to talk about the Hive show. They played at Ace of Spades. This is the band, the Hives. It's been around for 25 years or more. I remember loving their album Veni Vidi Vicious, which had the song "Hate to Say I Told You So" on it. Such a banger of a track, and I remember loving that. And I never got a chance to see them live. Back in the day. And so when they were going to be here, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a ticket and go. And I'd planned to go by myself, just have a solo show. Have the kids go to their moms or something along those lines. And then I was listening to their new album, always the Hives Forever, Forever the Hives, which is a funny play on words. It's actually pretty good. It's a good album. And my son and I were working on his homework while it was playing, and he's like, "You like the Hives?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go see them in like 2 weeks." And he said he wanted to go, and I was like, That's interesting. That's a different take for him, different musical tastes than he's usually into. But yeah, I'm always down to go to a show with my son. Sure, you can join me. I'll buy you a ticket now." And he can. I'm like, "But if I buy it, you have to go." And so he came with me, and I don't think I really knew until the night of the concert when we were having dinner, and he told me why he wanted to go is because they talk about the Hives in Freaky Friday, and he likes that movie. And Freakier Friday as well, but they were playing the Hives on a Walkman, or is there some scene? I don't know. I don't watch that stuff, but he's into it, and so we went, and it was such a fun show. I wanted to show him a really good time, and I like making it a fun experience. I'd forgotten earplugs for him, so as soon as we got into the venue, we went up to the bar. I was going to ask them for earplugs, and but the bartender just says, "Hey" to my son, fist bumps him. "Is this your first show?" No, I've been to other shows. I was like, "Hey," he came with me down to LA to go see AC/DC in the pit. So I'm giving my son some street cred. And he's like, "Okay, but it's your first show here, right? What's your name?" "Atticus." "Okay, everybody say hey to Atticus. Just give Atticus a round of applause for his first show at Ace of Spades." And he gave Atticus, he's like, "Hey, let me get you Shirley Temple for this boy over here, you know. And he's like, if you want another one, you come see me, okay? And I find out later this bartender, just super awesome, had worked there for since 2003, and it's just super friendly and to everybody and great with kids, and it made the experience that much better. So we get him a Shirley Temple. Then he wants to go to see the merch at the merch booth, and so I'm like, okay, we'll check it out. But $40 T-shirt plus tip. I'm like, I don't know, man. If you want it, you could pay half of it. How's that for a deal? And he's like, okay, done. So we get him one of the Hives T-shirts, and there's a tour shirt that had all the dates on it. We go over, we find a spot near the other bar that's near the stage. It's elevated a little bit. Stand there, and I'm like, that's a good spot for him to be able to see everything, not be down on the floor and in the mix, because this is a sold out show, and there were a lot of people there, and I just wanted it to be fun for him. So we do that, and then we're talking to a lady that's standing next to us, and she's like, "Oh, you got the gray tour shirt, the one with the typo on it." And I'm like, "Oh, it has a typo, huh? Let's check it out." And yeah, all of the dates said the right date, but the wrong month. It said October. It said 10, and so I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. She's like, it'll be a collector's item one day. It'll be worth something. I'm like, probably not. Not thinking it well, but that's okay. He liked the shirt, and he was into it, and we got him another Shirley Temple, before the set. And there were only two bands, which is awesome. And we were able to leave by like 10. We left the show right before the encore, so we only missed like three songs, which is okay because I heard "Hate to Say I Told You So," which we'll play at the end of this episode, and a lot of other songs that he likes. And so I want to. They just put on such a great live performance. The lead singer of the Hives goes all up to the crowd and into the like puts his face right up into the crowd and everything. He got a wired mic, but he's all around the venue as far as he can go with that microphone, and came over right in front of us and stood up on the table in front of us and everything. So that was pretty cool. He just so much energy in his performance, and you wouldn't think, hey, this he's been doing this for 25 years, and I mean, he's played a really fun, great show. It wasn't a long set by any stretch. Their short songs are pretty short, and they worked in like 19 of them or something, 17, I think, 17-song set into like an hour and 8 minutes or whatever it was for their set. But so much fun, and I was so glad to share it with my son. Like I said, so we're gonna play a song from the Hives right now. One of their new songs off their album. Like I said, it's the Hives Forever, Forever the Hives is the name of the new album, and this is a song my son really likes from that album. It's called "Paint a Picture," and then we're going to get into the interview with Brian Dunne. So here it is.
Time crowd clapping their hands over their heads. I'd like to dedicate it to Sacramento. It's called "Paint a Picture." Come on!
Brian, how's it going?
How you doing? I'm so sorry. Something got mixed up. I got an interview that started at 2:30. I don't know how this
Oh,
happened. I just finished that.
oh, no, no worries, no worries. Well, we got each other now, right? So
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing all right. My the right side of my face is numb. I'm not sure if Connor told you, but
Oh,
I was in the dentist chair, emailing him. I'm like, I might be running late. They haven't started drilling, but I got a crown situation going, on that they're drilling for and resizing and all that. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna make it. And then the
yeah.
times are all shuffled after all that anyway. But my face is a little numb. But besides that, doing well. So
That's good, man.
yeah, yeah. Your day treating you well so far?
Yeah, yes, just had a couple of different interviews scheduled today. So, just talking about myself all day.
As you do on a normal day, right? So
Sure, 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 sure.
yeah, but you have a lot to be excited about right now. I mean,
Yeah.
the new album's out, and I'm sure you're excited. Just I mean, a lot of work went into this one, right? So
Yeah, it's definitely has been a long undertaking, and I feel really, really great about the way it's been received. So, it does feel like a cathartic homecoming of sorts.
yeah, yeah. Well, I want to start with your home kind of situation, a little bit growing up. I'd like to dive into what music were you listening to as a kid? What did your parents have on? That sort of thing. So
Well, I grew up, my dad is a little bit older for a dad of my generation. So he was a straight baby boomer. He was a war vet, Vietnam War vet. And so his record collection was very much present in our house, a vinyl record collection. And it was very much of that generation. A lot of Animals, a lot of Doors, a lot of Creedence, kind of things that you would expect sort of a boomer dad to listen to.
yeah.
And that obviously had a profound impact on me, as well as my mom was like a little bit younger than him, so she had a very um, soft spot for uh, Laurel Canyon and Jackson Brown, Joni Mitchell, and things like that. So I kind of have a sort of weird mix of those two things, plus my own milieu of or the modern indie music and things that I sort of glommed onto as a kid.
What were some of those indie bands that you listened to as a kid?
Wilco and Vampire Weekend for starters are two influences that I think you can certainly hear in my music.
Yeah.
Uh, I was a big fan of The Replacements, and I've continued to follow a lot of bands that are still making really great music. I love the artist Caroline Rose. I think they're tremendous. Who else do I listen to? It's always such a hard question. Who are you listening to? Like I'm literally looking at a giant record collection, and I'm like, I can't name one record right now.
There's so many, and you're just like, I have to limit it down
I'm
to
not,
one or two. Like,
yeah, quite literally like looking over at it, going, like, what do I listen to?
yeah. Do you ever just pop those on though, just like to just relax and get,
Every
and
day,
oh,
every day.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I like it. I've never gotten into vinyl or records or anything. I don't know. I just never drifted down that path. But I might start, and I don't know if it's too late to start. I'm like, and kind of start collecting. I don't know. There's an appreciation that I appreciate it, but I haven't ever dove into it myself. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's something got into as a kid and started the preservation and collecting of them, and so now it's just with me. But this is quite a bit more economical.
It is, and you can listen to anything you want at a tap of a button. It's a little bit too easy. The records make you work for a little bit, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And so you started making music at like 5 years old. Tell me kind of
Yeah.
what that was like.
Yeah, I was really young. It's hard for me to even contextualize that, but I just have sort of always wanted to be specifically a singer-songwriter. Um, and I just was really drawn to it. I can't quite explain. It's like the one thing about my career that I really can't explain. I'm not really like a mystic about talent or like I don't think that stuff is necessarily God given. I just think it's like something you work on, you nurture, and your interest in it Like I'm not, and certainly not with like career or serendipity, but I am a little mystical about like, geez, I don't know why I was so specifically interested in this thing that, decades later is what I do.
Yeah, yeah. And so did you have a high school bands too? Like did you play with friends? What was
Sure,
your
yeah.
experience?
I played in a jam band and I was writing my songs, I was getting dumped, so I was writing songs, coffee house and all that stuff. And yeah, and I was like, I was a pretty good guitar player, so I could sit in with anybody. And then yeah, I just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, yeah. And so tell me kind of about when you started like really honing in on your craft because you've done 5 albums now, right? And so like with that first album, was it just kind of diving in, getting the nitty gritty, yeah, and really just becoming comfortable with like, okay, I'm gonna put this in, all out there right now.
Yeah, when I came to New York, I was really young to the city, and I had sort of a bygone idea of how things were going to go for me. I thought I was going to be discovered and my talent was going to be unmatched. And that wasn't the case. My talent was matched. And the idea I had of how the music industry worked was sort of a vintage idea that I had been sold in music documentaries and whatnot. So it was a disappointing couple of years, really challenging couple of years. And I decided when I made the first record, the first full length record, it was the big broad stroke was the making of that record, in that I had come to the understanding that if there was a lottery selection process for who got to become a star, I hadn't been selected. And I was going to have to do this on my own. And I am still very proud of that decision, maybe more than I'm proud of that record. I'm proud of the stones it took to say, okay, this isn't going to be easy, but I'm going to do it anyways. And so I made the first record. I booked myself 100 shows, and then that went okay. So I booked 100 more, and I made a second record, and that did even better. And I booked myself 100 shows and 100 more, and then somebody came along and started booking them for me, and then somebody came along and started helping me make the records, and it's kind of just gone from there. It's all been incremental.
How did you know how to like get out there and book shows? Like, did you just start calling up, the venues and
I
like what?
didn't. I was doing some of the craziest things. I used to say I had one qualification for booking a venue, and that was that I had to see that the band that had played there previously was still alive. That was the only qualification that I had. I would like look up the bands, and if they were active, it meant they had been killed, and therefore we could go play it.
Well, that works.
It was something. It was some sort of, measurement, I guess.
Yeah. One thing is that I went through your music that hit me was your perseverance, right? You even in the face of challenges, you keep your chin up and you push forward and you don't let it slow you down and you find ways to grow from those experiences. One thing you said was I'm obsessed with failure. I think that's on your website even. Is that you're obsessed with failure, and that's such a perspective that I love because people are afraid of it, but
Right.
it takes it takes strength to embrace it and realize that that's where growth comes from.
Yeah, I think that failure is really interesting. And I'm always compelled by things that are, I don't know why certain things are interesting, you know? And it's not necessarily linear. There are things in your life that are more important than, say, I don't know, like getting dumped. And yet getting dumped is more interesting. I can't explain
Yeah.
this. Like I often think about when I'm writing songs, I think about if I was sitting in a bar and somebody sidled up to me at the bar and they started telling me this story, would I be interested? Um, and certain things, I can't explain why certain things are interesting and why they're not, but I have a pretty good barometer for whether or not they are. And failure, to me, if somebody sidles up to you at the bar and they go, I just got fired, and that's interesting, and it's interesting because it's a failure.
Yeah.
And I don't know why in the human condition we want to hear more about that, but I want to hear more about that. Then say, it's probably more important if somebody is like, I don't know, just discovered a lump or something, but that for some reason I want to hear about that less than um my girlfriend dumped me and she's sleeping with my friend. And somebody sidles up to you at the bar and tells you that and you're like, I gotta know more. And
I'm
so
I'm here. Let's have a drink. Let's tell me the story, right?
exactly. So I'm obsessed with failure from that standpoint. I think it's inherently interesting and it's got so much more conflict than success.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And one of the challenges that struck me also, I mean, that I hit everybody, but but you as well was you put out an album April 10th, 2020, selling things. Not the most, not the best time,
It was
for
not a
music.
not a slow news day, no.
No, and touring not happening after that date,
No.
and that's artist livelihood, are those tours, and you have this new album that you put all, your blood, sweat, and tears into, and you're like, okay, I feel good about this, and I know you still feel good about that album, but you didn't get the chance you needed to with it, right? So
No, and that'll always unfortunately be a a minor disappointment of mine because I think that's a really good album and I wish it had gotten a spotlight. But ultimately, I made it through and it's good to be tested sometimes. It it gives you confidence. I've always known that I would do this forever, but
yeah,
I it's good to have that tested. A lot of people didn't make it through the pandemic, and in terms of musicians, their careers didn't survive the pandemic. And sorry, is this being filmed? Is like the film gonna come out? I realized I just got up and
uh,
moved.
oh, you're good. Yeah, we use the video for YouTube too, but it's cool.
Okay.
Whatever
Okay.
works, man.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, a lot of people, sort of, you know, had to step away, and I'm really grateful that I made it through that challenge. It was really hard. I was basically out of work for 2 years, and it was such a strange thing. I remember them doing like a list of essential workers on the news, and it was
Mhm.
like first up, doctors and nurses, grocery store workers, essential workers, right? And it would like listed everybody. And it was like, I can't remember what was actually said, but I can remember how it felt, which was like, and actors and musicians, don't call us, we'll call you kind of thing. Like it was a very like, okay, sounds like we're not going to be in business for a long time, but ultimately I think that's a really strong album. And a lot of people do come up to me at shows and tell me how much that album meant to them. And that's what I'm here to do more than, be successful is try to make music for people to survive difficult moments. And so if it helped one person do that at that time, then that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And did you do a lot of like Instagram, like playing live on Instagram and that sort of thing, just to
Sure.
be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to?
You can still
Yeah.
find the ghosts of some of that, and some of it was really fun. Some of it was towards the end there. It got a little dystopian, but for a while, I really enjoyed it.
You can only do it for so long. Uh, but okay, so one of the things that was also interesting is that some of your songs, like you're pretty sure that like someone has written it before, right? Like some of your lyrics, I'm gonna miss you until I'm with you again, or stand clear of the closing doors. You said that
Yeah,
sort of thing. And so you like, do you typically Google your lyrics to just see that they're out there? I don't know if I've heard that
yeah.
from.
I'll send it to a friend. Anything that can sort of I'm always worried about that because when a really great one hits you, you do think this has to already be somebody has to have thought of this, right? Because that's the feeling that you get, right?
Yeah,
Or like, how has nobody put their finger on this feeling before? And that's often my instinct is to Google the title, the lyrics, and then send it to a friend and go, "This isn't anybody else's song, right? This is my song."
yeah, yeah.
Sort of the unromantic side of songwriting.
Yeah, it feels like movies and TV, everything is getting redone. But so that's kind of less off limits. But music, it has to be completely original, right?
Well, I mean, to some people, I don't want to ever be derivative, and I want to make sure that if I can only achieve one thing, it's that you have a defined understanding of the type of music I make and what it is. I don't want to be necessarily for everyone. I want to be for people that really like what I do. So I'm always trying to dial that in a little bit more with each record so that my specific tone and taste are you could fit them on the head of a pin.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Fantastic cat. So that's it's interesting to me because it's this band that like it felt like you didn't think it was gonna work, and then it kind of blew up for you, right? So
Absolutely.
what was that experience like, and how talk to me about rolling, how you rolled with it once it did so well.
Yeah, it was really interesting, man. There is something to it that has something to do with holding things loosely because originally Fantastic Cat was just going to be a weekend project that we all were holding super loosely. We went in, we had a lot of fun making the first record, and it was just simply crowd response, the way that people were enthusiastic, so enthusiastic about what we were doing. I think every single one of us was surprised.
Yeah,
I I still can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah, so it's sort of, I don't want to say it took over our lives, but it took over our lives because we've been on the road so much and we're putting the finishing touches on the third record right now.
I was
But
curious. Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of right now that's kind of a nonstop train and yeah, it's been a real blessing. I love doing it. It's like it's so much fun for me to be in the context of a band and not be in charge of everything.
Like less pressure a little bit,
It's different pressure, right? Like the shows are a little bit more of a high wire act. They're a little more involved. But there's also a lot of room for me to play the guitar, which is something I love doing, and I
Mm,
don't necessarily always get to do it in that way in my solo work because I've got a story to tell.
yeah.
But sometimes I can just let Anthony tell a story, and I can just illustrate patterns on my guitar.
Oh, for sure. And you got to tour to. I know you hit the West Coast there, and you played the Fillmore in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
we
Do you
did
remember?
Fillmore. That was great in the Troubadour in LA.
Yeah. What was your memory of the Fillmore? That's my favorite place to see shows. I have so many
It was
memories of the Fillmore.
magnificent, man. It was a really, really special room. I kind of couldn't believe we were there, kind of one of those situations.
Yeah, you can get lost in the posters on the wall. It's just
Yeah.
incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah. And did you get to work with Adam Duritz from Counting Crows as well?
Yeah, he came in on and sang on a song on the last record called So Glad You Made It. A couple of the other guys were friendly with him. I didn't know him so well. I'd met him once. But he was super gracious with us and filmed a music video with us. Like he's a real mensch, that guy.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Counting Crows growing up, or had to
Absolutely,
be,
yeah. I
right?
think I went to see Counting Crows when I was like 15 years old at the PNC Bank Arts Center in Holmdel, New Jersey.
Nice, nice. What were some of those early concerts for you that you went to that were like pivotal to you like being like, yes, this is what I want to do. I love this sort of thing.
I mean, the very first concert I ever saw was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on July 29th, 1999 at the Continental Airlines Arena, which was then called the Continental Airlines Arena, which is the arena at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And I think it split my brain in half and I've never fully recovered.
You start with Springsteen, and then like, where do you go from there, right?
Where do you go from there, man? That's the eternal question. I'll never get over it.
That is it. That is it. Talk to me about growing up in Monroe, New York. Like, is there a music scene in there, or did you have to get
No.
to no, no?
So Monroe's like, it's funny because people sort of associate upstate New York. Either their idea of upstate New York is like the Catskills region, kind of crunchy, open-mindedness, beautiful landscapes. I love it up there, like Woodstock and the band and all that. That's not where I'm from. Where I'm from is sort of like an hour outside of the city. It's very um it's a pretty corporate town. There's a lot of like big box stores and there's a lot of it's like kind of cops and firefighters and commuters. It's a little skews a little red and Not necessarily a great place for a young, sort of sensitive kid to grow up, but I guess it gave me a good backdrop to paint my dreams on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. New album is Clams Casino.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I was familiar with that term until I was listening to the album and digging into it a little bit. But it kind of stems from you kind of growing up and your dad, right? Like he worked in a factory and you'd see Clams Casino on menus when you'd go out to eat with him. It seemed fancy, right? So tell me about it.
yeah,
You've had them, right? So
yeah. It's more, yeah. So I was thinking about this idea, um, that growing up on the Eastern Seaboard, uh, there's a real tone to the Eastern Seaboard of the United States that partially I felt hadn't been captured in a long time and was well captured in the music that I loved. Like part of what drew me to the music of Bruce Springsteen so early on was that I recognized the world that I knew in the songs before I even understood the emotional nuance of those songs. I understood that, like, when they closed down the auto plant in Mahwah late last month, I knew where that was. I knew I recognized the people and the jobs and the names and all that. And so, um, I wanted to paint a picture of working class East Coast, which is where I come from, but I wanted to tell a story about class pride and class shame and how they work together in driving a person like me totally insane. Um, and I thought that Clams Casino could be a good reference point because it is what a working man thinks a rich man eats. It just sounds cosmopolitan, it sounds fancy, but it's not fancy. It's
yeah,
actually a very working class meal, but it's made to seem glamorous. And so that was sort of what I was getting at with the song because the song starts and it's kind of a working class blues. I bought a mattress at the discount store. It feels like I'm sleeping on a concrete floor, right? That's just classic, like, can't catch a break in this world. But then as I
yeah,
get deeper into the song, I actually start to talk about if I am aspiring to to greater heights, am I allowed to bitch and moan, as I say in the song? Can I cop to that if I am trying to do this fanciful thing, this writing songs, what a pretentious job.
right.
And it's sort of ping-ponging back and forth between the duality of that if you come from the working class, you're usually very proud of it, but you're also usually running from it as fast as you can. And does that make you a complete hypocrite, or is that just a natural? Is that what defines the working class? That it's stuck between, you know, two polar opposites.
Yeah, but it's not high class for most. Being an artist. I mean, and all the struggles that you talk about, right? I mean, it's you had a great view on it and kind of like work ethic, I would say, towards it. But man, it's a grind too, right?
It is a working class job. It is a beautiful working class job that affords you certain luxuries. I've seen the world. I've gotten to sing my songs for some of my heroes. But it is a working class job. It is a Honda, a used Honda HRV job. And
Yeah.
that is myself and all my contemporaries. Unless, till maybe you catch that big fish.
Reach that level. Yeah.
And you can eat Clams Casino on that big boat in the sky.
You can. Tell me about singing songs for your heroes. Like, what are some of those moments that stand out that you're like, is this real life?
Yeah, no, earlier this year I had the pleasure of we played for Bruce Springsteen.
What?
Yeah, he was backstage at one of our sets in Red Bank, New Jersey, and shook my hand, and we shared some words, and he was super complimentary, and it was my brain hasn't recovered from that either.
And you played it. You played songs for backstage,
Yeah, no,
or on.
he was backstage watching us. We didn't know he was watching us, so that was probably good.
Good, good. Pressure off there, but man, it must have felt like this full circle moment for you, right? Like
Mhm.
from going from your first concert to the watching
My
him.
mind,
Yeah,
my mind.
yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. And tell me how far have you traveled with your music? Like, you played overseas, and Like,
Yeah, but played a lot overseas, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, played in Ireland. Where else have I played shows? Denmark. Yeah, you get it, all across the globe. Canada, and all these great United States.
yeah. What were some of the highlights from that? Like Ireland, like it seems like it would be pretty amazing.
Ireland, man, that was a festival I played with Fantastic Cat. That was one of the best ones we ever had because that's a really cool. That was up in Kilkenny, Ireland, and that was a really really cool 3 day run. It just every show felt like an event, and the whole city came out. It was so cool, man. Highly
Yeah.
recommend.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One thing I want to call out from Clams Casino on Graveyard. I don't know what it is, but I like the clapping that it's like happening
Sure,
in
sure, sure.
that song. Can you tell me kind of where that came from?
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about the song Every Day by Buddy Holly. All the percussion in that song, it goes, every day, it's getting close. And even when he's coming out of the bridge, they even go like, to da 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 da. And I thought that was so cool. So I, when I wrote that song, I thought I want to do, I'm sort of doing this sort of haunted 50s thing with that song, 1950s thing. And I've always found the music of Buddy Holly particularly haunting. I think just knowing the context of Buddy Holly and the sort of the day the music died and all that has always sort of I've always sort of looked at Buddy Holly with this sort of slightly just haunted lens.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. No, but I can see that where that came from. That's pretty cool. Um, how many songs did you start out with on this one? Because I know with Loser on the Ropes, you started with like 200 and whittled it down. Like, like what is that? What is that like? How many?
I've always written in like pretty wildly in volume. I don't know, I didn't tally them up, but I and Loser on the Ropes was probably an extra because of the pandemic and because I had so much time to write. There's probably some extra, but this would probably have been pared down from less because I wrote it in such a small window of time. I just felt like I was onto something. So it kind of, once I got on a roll and I wrote Clams Casino and Play the Hits, I sort of could see how all the characters work together. Like I watched The Light and I really felt strongly about that song. I felt it was a story I wanted to tell, but I was worried that it was a little like sanctimonious because it was sort of this idea that I'm talking to this person who has to leave the city and I'm sort of feeling bad for them. So then I was like, well, I think I need to show the other side of that coin. So I wrote the song Rockland County, which is somebody who has to leave the city, but they're overjoyed to finally put down this thing that they've been trying so hard for so long and they've arrived at middle age and they're just completely done. They're just spent and they cannot stand these people and I thought that was a compelling story to tell. And they sort of each song on this record sort of played off another one and was written almost in direct response to another one.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. And you mentioned with Fantastic Cat, like you're working on that third album. What does that
Yeah,
look like? Is that like a next year thing or?
it's gonna be next year. Yeah, we're actually the album goes it's we're putting the final touches on the mix right now. That's what I spent the morning doing. So um it's gonna, yeah, it'll be out I think April of next year.
And at this point, do they kind of mesh together, like the projects, like time wise, or do you kind of like, okay, this is my time for my solo career, this is my time for Fantastic Cat, and then like,
Yeah, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy, but I'm grateful to be working as much as I'm working. I've had periods where, especially early on in my career where I had so much to say and I had no one to say it to and no way to share it. And I am trying to take advantage of this sort of time of abundance in my life. And
yeah,
it can be a little chaotic. And sometimes a ball gets dropped here and there, but for the most part, I've remembered to bring all my quarter-inch cables to the gig.
you come prepared.
Sure.
And so, how did the Netherlands work out? Like, because that was a pivotal moment for you, right? Reaching number two over there, and you felt like you had to go over there and give them some love that they gave you, right?
Yeah, that song it took me by surprise. It had already been out a couple of years and um somebody just took a shine to it and started playing it. I knew from the jump that it was a bit of a novel thing and I was just going to treat it like a zero-sum game and have a lot of fun with it, which was a unique thing for me because at that time, everything I'd done in my career came with like this deep sense of pressure, just based on how seriously I take my job and how, how I want every aspect of it to be great. And I decided early on that I didn't know where it was going and I didn't know where it came from. So I was just going to enjoy it. And that's what I did.
That's the way to do it. You have an East Coast tour that's right around the corner also. Looking forward to that.
Super looking forward to that, man. I love all the cities I'm playing, and I'm really these songs are really to me they're really working. So I think that I'm gonna have a great time playing them for audiences.
That's cool. Coming out to the West Coast anytime soon?
At some point, we'll get to the West Coast. Might be with Fantastic Cat. Just logistically speaking, this first loop only goes to as far west as Chicago and down to Tennessee and such. But I always get out everywhere at some point.
You make the rounds for sure. So
Yeah.
well, Brian, I want to thank you for the time and for making it happen. And yeah, I hope to see you out on the West Coast. I've enjoyed diving into your music too. I mean, I really dig it, and it's just so soulful. It's got heart. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, have a good weekend ahead, and yeah, we'll see you out here when you come out here on the West Coast. Okay.
Thanks. Pleasure talking to you.
Cheers.
That was my interview with Brian Dunne here on Concert Pipeline. And that takes us to the final segment on the program, the music report. I got a couple stories to wind out the program, of course. First up, we had Riot Fest, which happened in Wisconsin, a festival that I've always wanted to go to. And I go to Wisconsin. I've gone to Wisconsin a couple of times for Green Bay Packers games to visit a buddy, but I've never made it there for Riot Fest. I think part of the problem is it's like in September, and I have heavy kid obligations then. Where they're in school and I'm kind of responsible for them, and I can't really break away for it. But the lineup is always pretty legit. So it was the 20th anniversary of Riot Fest, and it was headlined by Blink-182, who's going to be playing Aftershock this week here in Sacramento, and I am trying to find any way I can to get into that show to just like justify it because it's on a Thursday. There's this whole pop punk day at Aftershock, which I want to go to because there's so many great bands. But the ticket prices are a little hefty, and I got kids obligations again, and I don't want to put that on their moms. So I don't know if the ticket prices get low enough, I might try and figure it out to do it. But I just feel like I'll be getting away with something. And right before duck hunting season, and I'm going down south for another show, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Aftershock. But Blink-182 headline, Weezer, Green Day, all awesome headline bands. Jack White joined Idols for their Joy as an act of resistance song, Never Fight a Man with a Perm. Cobra Starship brought out Gym Class Heroes leader Travie McCoy. Thought Cobra Starship and Gym Class Heroes are kind of like the same band. I've gotten them confused before, I'll be honest. I don't think they are. And William Beckett from the Academy is for Bring It, Snakes on a Plane, which is what Cobra Starship is really famous for in my mind, is like their song on the Snakes on a Plane album. So that's pretty cool. And did you send in Stephen Egerton, excuse me, and Alkaline Trios Matt Skiba, who was formerly in Blink-182 while Tom DeLonge was not. They joined Blink-182 for Hope. So there were some good collaborations there. After over a decade of the festival trying to get John Stamos to perform, he finally conceded and played with the Beach Boys, but not without some stipulations. For him to play, festival founder Mike had to get a tattoo of a stick of butter and Stamos's last name. A John Stamos lookalike contest had to be hosted by the festival, and a Greek-style pizza needed to be created and named after him, the Stamos Supreme, by a local Chicago pizza restaurant. He also hopped on stage for Hanson's set during the fan favorite Mbop. I think he played drums on that, I saw also. So he got out to Riot Fest, and people were super stoked. That was a highlight for them for sure. So that is the Riot Fest news. Paul McCartney played the Beatles' Help for the first time in 35 years. And I can't even name that song. Oh no, I can. I do know that one. Yeah, obviously it's Help. It's such a hit, and it's so crazy that he hasn't played that in 35 years. The U.S. leg of Mecca's Got Back tour kicked off in Desert, California this week, and it's just bonkers that he hasn't played that song for 35 years. I mean, when I put that in perspective, I was in like second grade or something when he played that the last time, and and such a hit. So people were obviously losing their minds over that. That's super cool. This is some big news in terms of music news. Spotify removed 75 million tracks from the platform in a crackdown on AI. They say they're taking a stand against music intended to confuse and deceive listeners, push slop into the ecosystem, and interfere with authentic artists working to build their careers. And so, in a statement that they shared, they said that this will involve a new impersonation policy following reports that AI generated songs are being uploaded to dead musicians' profiles, an updated spam filter, and standardized AI disclosures in music credits. And so it's going to combat mass uploads, duplicates, SEO hacks, artificially short track abuse, and other forms of slop have become easier to exploit as AI tools make it simpler for anyone to generate large volumes of music. It's going to flag uploaders of these tracks and stop recommending their content to users. So they're doing a lot of work to combat that, which I really respect. Like, let's keep that music out of the picture, and not be able to be profited off of, because it's a slap in the face to artists that actually work to make their music. All right. Brian May says the Queen have been in the studio and are very keen on playing the Las Vegas Sphere. So we heard, I think last week or the week before, Metallica wanted to play the Sphere. Queen wanted to play the Sphere with Adam Lambert. They haven't played the shows together in a while. Roger Taylor also said that he doesn't think the band are done. And so the band are currently celebrating the 50th anniversary of Bohemian Rhapsody while looking ahead to the future. They spoke to Rolling Stone. May and Roger Taylor have now revealed that the band won't be wrapping things up anytime soon. They're not going to say their final farewell tour or anything, because it never is it? They're just going to keep going until they're done. And Adam Lambert took on frontman duties in 2011, with the most recent time being playing the rock legends on their huge Rhapsody tour, which concluded in Tokyo in 2024. He said May said they worked on new music with Lambert, that they're not sure if it will go anywhere. Not many people know, but Adam and we have been in the studio trying things. Nothing really materialized so far. Some things are meant to be, and some things are not. And that they are keen on the Sphere. It's got their mind working. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. That would be a show worth seeing, though, I'm sure. The Butthole Surfers reunited for their first performance in 8 years. They came together at a screening of their new documentary, The Whole Truth and Nothing But. You see what they did there? Yeah. So this is their first live performance in 8 years. You can check the footage out online. The Tom Stern directed film. It was being shown at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and this marks the West Coast premiere. It took place as part of Beyond Fest at America Cinematic. It was reported they would be in attendance and holding a Q&A after the screening, and this ended up being a mini live show for fans at the venue. Though they did a 3-song performance playing Shurab, the Colored, FBI Guy, and the Shaw Sleeps in Lee Harvey's grave. So if you're a Butthole Surfers fan, I'm sure you'd be into that. The guitar that Liam Gallagher smashed up on the night that Oasis split is going up for auction, and it's estimated to fetch £500,000, which is bonkers for a broken ass guitar. But it was part of the demise of Oasis for, I don't know, what was it? It was almost 20 years. It was like 18, 19 years or so. It's a Red Gibson ES 355 guitar. It was broken backstage, not even on stage, at the Rock and Sign Festival in Paris in August 2009, where the band notoriously canceled their set at the last minute after Noel abruptly left the band. And they're thinking £500,000. later this next month. So the guitar was previously sold at auction in 2021 for £325. Noel reportedly parted with it, and then as it reminded him too much of Oasis. So just even 4 short years ago, Noel didn't want to think about Oasis. Obviously, this is a very recent reunion of them, and it seems like they're doing well. They always come out to every show holding hands in the air and celebrating, and then play their songs. And I haven't heard of any drama from this tour. They, I think they are very structured and probably keep their time separated as much as they can. I don't know that things are perfect, obviously, but they're good enough to make $1 billion for their reunion tour. Um, and lastly, in the music news, the Foo Fighters have played some shows, which is, I mean, they just keep playing these pop-up shows. They've done, I think, 4 at this point now, 2 on the West Coast, 2 on the East Coast, where they'll show up in town and get with no notice and be like, okay, we're going to play a show. And venues that look like they have a capacity of like 200 or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, to be a fly on the wall. I mean, I guess you can through YouTube, but just to be there would have been incredible. Such an incredible thing. One concert I'm looking forward to is in less than 2 weeks now, actually, and I'm super stoked about it. It's The Format. That is Nate Roos and Sam Means band from over 20 years ago. Their last show was about 17 years ago, and they're playing tonight as of the recording of this. They're pretty much going on stage right now at this moment in Arizona. They're in their home state. Playing in a fairground, and they got 2 shows in New York. They're going to be on the Tonight Show also with Jimmy Fallon on the same night that Taylor Swift is the guest. They're the musical guest, so that episode I'm sure will get a crazy amount of attention. And then they're coming to LA to play a show at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which I hear is a really cool venue, and I'm gonna be there. Can't wait. It's going to be epic. And I've saw a spoiled, version of what might be the set list. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so stoked because this is a band I grew up on. And just to be there is going to be so cool. I haven't seen them live since before my kids were born. And this is just huge for me. So I really, really can't wait. And I'll, of course, report back to that on the podcast. And bring some footage from it as well. But they're playing the Tonight Show. So that piece tells me, okay, these 4 shows that they're doing can't be the end. I don't think it's the end of the Format. I think they're going to announce a tour or have an album or something on the horizon, because for Nate to get back into it, even and dip his foot in even a little bit, I think he's going to go all in and have a reunion. I don't know that we'll be seeing a reunion of his other band, Fun, anytime in the near future, because Jack Antonoff doesn't really need that. He's got 1 million Grammys, and I don't see that happening. But I'll take The Format right now. All right, that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to close it out with another song from the Hives set at Ace of Spades in Sacramento. This is their jam. This is my favorite. It is Hate to Say I Told You So. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you.
because I'm gonna. Let's go fast.